Welcome to the show. Today is April 7th, 2024. The first episode of Strikeout Bros with Lasha. I'm Pablo. Today we'll be talking about the Yankees' incredible start with the addition of Juan Soto, the Metropolitans, and our opinions on what's wrong over there, the up-and-coming Baltimore Orioles, and the mighty comeback kings, the Atlanta Braves. Stay tuned. Hey, Lash, what's up, bro?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good.
It's been
So,
I got an interesting week to talk about the things that passed. So
most definitely. A lot of good things are happening out there in the baseball world. What do you want to start with?
let's start with the Yankees, man.
Wow.
So uh, it's- there so far the acquisition of Soto's turned out to be great. He was exactly what they needed. He needed that. He was that missing piece. He's been lights out since he came on. I think he
I
only has
agree.
he has one home run so far or two. I forgot.
He has one home run so far, but
Once.
you're 100% right. It's
But
funny how some players, can't really make a difference when they come over to a new ball club, but Juan Soto's very different. He's an animal. He's somebody that can change the dynamic of a team.
Yeah, and so far you can tell he's not. Some people that come to New York, whether it be on the Mets or the Yankees, they tend to get starstruck, and they can't seem to handle the limelight that New York and the criticism that comes with playing in New York. It's a lot of pressure, and most people can't handle that. But so far, Juan's been doing a great job of handling it.
Defensively and offensively. I would expect more home runs by this time, but he's hitting the ball like a maniac. He's really good at it. He's scary. And with, having Judge there, Giancarlo, if he comes back to his true form, they're definitely going to the playoffs. I have a feeling that, they're going to be a force.
But
There's, I'm sorry?
yes, Stanton did have a grand slam today, so who knows if he gets hot, that'd be another big piece. They're very powerful when they're healthy and the bats are working. That's a dangerous team to play. They just hit home runs. That's their strength.
Yeah, it's serious strength. It
So
changes everything. I agree.
yeah, so far I think the goal for the Yankees is to try to stay afloat until Garrett Cole comes back. I think he's throwing a rehab session or is starting to throw again this week. So that'll be good for them if they can get him back quicker. For now, they're just gonna roll with the pitchers that they have and see what happens. If your offense can carry you and they can score 5+ runs a game, then you don't have to worry about your pitching trying to hold the fort. If you can do the heavy lifting, if the offense can carry you until he gets Garrett Cole comes back, man, the Yankees are in good condition.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the funny thing about those guys, they won 5 in a row to start the season, right? And the last time that happened was 32 years ago. All right.
Wow.
So there's something special there. There's something special there. As much as I hate to say it, I'm a true Met fan, but the Yankees have something special there. And at the right time too, because Baltimore's getting stronger. With the addition of Corbin Burns, that was a great move on their part. I don't even think they needed him, but he's a force. He's another addition to your baseball team that can really make a difference.
No, they definitely need him because they don't have a true ace really. Kyle Bradish was their best pitcher last year, but he's on the IL. Grayson Rodriguez is going to his first full year as a starter, so who knows how he'll do. So far, he did good. And then Dean Kramer had a good game today, but he would have got the win. But the defense ruined the game. But anyway, so who knows? Yeah, they needed an ace. So you got to have an ace if you want to be a competitive team. If you look at all the teams, the Astros, the Dodgers, and the what do you call it? The Texas Rangers, they all have aces. Even the Yankees, even though Cole's hurt, he's an ace.
Yes,
Look
he
at the
is.
Mets,
I mean, Cy Young winner.
Freed, Strider, they have aces. You want it. The best teams have an ace. You have to have an ace. There's no way about it. So they
Especially in the playoffs. Yeah,
yeah, well, definitely in the playoffs.
in the playoffs. It's all about pitching in the playoffs.
Yeah, Corbin's he's been good. He's had a good outing the last I think with the first two starts. I think he lost one. The other one was the decision, or won one, and the other one
He
was the
won one. He
decision.
won one. He
The
was
other one's a no
definitely something I
decision.
was looking at last week. He was definitely strong. And it's funny
Yeah,
because the Yankees, they lost twice this year and they were blanked. They couldn't score. And the Blue Jays did it to them. And Zach Gallen, Arizona Diamondbacks, shut them
and
down.
Arizona, yeah,
Yeah, shut them
that
down.
was the first loss of the year.
That was the first loss of the year, and it was a bad
But
one.
they came.
Good pitching can dominate the Yankees.
Well,
Good pitching can dominate the Yankees. So you have to be careful because their pitching is a little suspect, you know? So you have to understand, like, if Cole isn't on point, if Nestor's not on point, Stroman, for some reason, has been pretty impressive. And his energy, I didn't like it in the clubhouse when he was a Met. He was angry, too showy. It was showboat, but it works for the Yankees. For some reason, he really wanted to be there, and he's showing them that he's worth the money. Two great starts, won one, lost one. He pitched like 6 innings. Amazing work. Still lost the game, but the pitching is there. The pitching is there. I see it. They spend a little money, and it's kind of working out for them.
yeah. Well, let's transition to the other team in New York. I know the Mets just came off a winning series, 2 out of 3 versus Cincinnati.
Finally,
Uh, I don't know what it is, but they seem to play a little bit away from home. I don't know if it's the pressure, the cold, but you're the expert. So, what do you think is the problem
I
with the
can't
Mets?
I can't explain it. The bats are definitely a problem. The pitching, on the other hand, for some reason, I didn't even know this because I was so upset with the losses that I wasn't keeping track. Well, yesterday I was watching the game and they throw this stat up on the board, a little bit information stuff. And I'm like, get out of here. I couldn't believe it. My head exploded. So apparently the team ERA combined with the bullpen starting rotation and bullpen is 2.18 prior to today's ball game. And their starting rotations ERA is 2.23, right?
That's pretty good for a
That's
team that
pretty
doesn't have any.
amazing. Exactly, right? And then their bullpen ERA is 2.12. All right. Too bad we aren't hitting. We're not hitting. Too bad we aren't hitting because if we were hitting, we would be destroying everybody. Because apparently the pitching is the best. It's the best in the National League. How so? How crazy is that?
Well, I think getting Diaz helps a lot because it lifts up a lot of the heavy lifting that the other relievers would have to do. You know, you had who was your closer last year?
Oh man,
And his replacement. It
it
was
was
anybody. It was a
everybody.
rotation.
Yeah, it was a
You know,
rotation of closers. Yeah, if needed.
but they had pitchers who were not pitching in the position that they usually pitch. So if you have an eighth inning guy, now he's got pitch in ninth. If you had a guy that's the setup
Uncomfortable.
man, he couldn't do that because he's playing closer or
Yeah,
vice versa. Knowing that you have Diaz in the back really helps a lot. That's a lot of pressure taking off the rest of the staff.
it is.
The goal for the Mets right now is one, try to score a little bit more runs. But if your starting pitching can go 5 innings, that'd be great. I know you lost Cody Senga. He should be coming back in a couple of weeks. But
Yeah,
the additions of Julio Teheran, I think that's a good under the radar signing. If
definitely.
he
I
can
agree.
just stay under the radar, he doesn't have to be amazing. He doesn't have to be the Atlanta version of Julio Teheran. He just got to be, kind of like what he was in Milwaukee. He's not gonna be flash. He's not gonna like this. The numbers aren't gonna pop out, but
No,
they're you want them. There'll be enough that it allows your offense to have a chance to score.
it's
He can
interesting.
hold
Yeah,
down the opponents and then help you score runs or
yeah,
prevent. Give you opportunity to score runs. That's if the Mets can do that.
yeah. He's making his debut tomorrow with the Mets at his own stomping grounds, which is funny in the ATL. It's crazy because he was there for 9 seasons,
He
right?
was great, man. He
He
was
was great.
amazing.
He was a Mets killer. That's
He
what they
was their
called him.
ace.
Yeah,
Yeah, he really was. He was their
he
ace.
was from 2011 to 2019. Amazing, right? And then
Hmm.
he did a stint in Anaheim, I believe, and then after that he went to Milwaukee. In Milwaukee, he wasn't so great. He went 3 for 5 and 11 starts, but he was a
Yeah.
threat when he was in Atlanta. And he's going back home, and he's gonna pitch for the Mets. It's gonna be super interesting. The novella is always there in baseball. It's crazy. You move players around, but the drama's always there. It's crazy. And a lot of players move around, but they move around in their own division. So it makes it even funnier, because everybody knows each other, everybody knows each other's strengths. So I can't wait to watch tomorrow's baseball game. It's gonna be fun to watch that one. And I'm scared for the Mets because if they go to Atlanta and they come back, hurting, they can't get swept by Atlanta. They need to either split it or take the series. This is the only way we should come home, with a little momentum. But
Yeah,
we're
if
talking
if
about the anti Braves. The Braves are crazy. They're tough.
who would you say for the Mets? Would you say is your surprise hitter, like you thought wasn't gonna do anything but is doing well? And then who would you say is the most disappointing
Oh man,
offensive player?
very easy to answer. Starling Marte has been producing from day one. He wants to stay there. He's that veteran player that is showing you why he belongs there. All right, because we're rebuilding. We have a lot of young guys out there,
Hmm.
but Starling Marte, hurt last year, couldn't really play, and I wasn't happy with his production at all. But this year, he's showing you that he's a leader in the clubhouse.
Wasn't he hurt part of last year?
Yeah, he was hurt a lot. He had growing problems, and he just couldn't get it together. But
His first year with them was amazing. That was the year they went to the wild card, and he had a great year. He literally carried that team.
yeah,
If he's back to his old form from 2022,
22.
then yeah, that's it's a good um it's a good piece to have. Now I would say, would you say that Lindor is probably the most disappointing?
No, well, he's making a lot of money.
Offensive player?
So, are we looking at it from a financial, you
No,
know,
I'm looking at
point of
it from an
view?
offensive standpoint. You got him for his
Okay,
offense,
I know
not
we did, but you have to understand that the reason why I think you're saying that is because we spent so much on him, and he's not clutch. If that's the word that you're looking for, I think the biggest disappointment is Alonso. He's impatient. He's
mm,
not waiting for his pitches. He's swinging at these really outside the strike zone because he feels like he's not gonna get his pitch, but he gets his pitch all the time. He just doesn't swing at
he just needs to be more patient. I
it.
feel like he's going up there thinking I have to hit a home run because this team is not scoring the runs,
hmm
so I need to be the
Pressure,
spark. And
exactly.
he's playing on a contract now, or playing for a contract. Excuse me.
24 contract, yeah.
So
Free
there's
agent at the end
pressure
of the year.
to want to do well. He is a Scott Boras client, so if he wants to get as much money as he can, he's got to produce. He's got to have like an Aaron Judge type of year or close to it, like the
to
Aaron
get
Judge did
to get what he wants. Yeah.
the year that he got his payday with the Yankees. But I also think the weather has to do a factor. The ball travels better in the summertime for some reason. I guess the air now in the wintertime, not in the wintertime, but in New York, and the weather in April, May is not like Miami type of weather. It's 60s, 70s, so it's still kind of cold. They play on the water, so you get that draft. I always believe that
Yeah, it's
stadium
usually
is
like
10 degrees cooler than it is outdoors. If
outside.
that makes sense.
No, it does. I went to the whole series. The first series against the Brewers, I was there for every single game. And let me explain something to you. When I say it was cold, it was bad. And
Mm.
I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, Milwaukee goes in there and has fun in the park. When I say they have fun, they hit the ball hard and they got on base a lot. All right. I kind of remember, I think they had like 20 hits in the first two games.
Wow, that's a
All
lot.
right. 20 hits in the first two games. And the Mets got one in the first one, and that was a Starling Marte home run. So he didn't even sit on the base. He hit it, got it over the fence, scored, and then we were done. Next game, we're having problems at the plate. We can't hit the ball. Obviously, if you
Yeah,
can't hit the ball, you can't score. But
you know who
yesterday,
was
go ahead.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
You know who was a good who had a good performance defensively? Your third baseman, Beatty. He had a really nice dive and catch. I don't know how he's doing offensively. He's not a power hitter. He's more of a line drive,
Yeah,
gap to gap type of hitter. So if you're the Mets, just gotta be patient and see what happens. Let him do his thing. And
yeah. You need patience with him. I think he's gonna develop into what we want. He's not gonna be a David Wright, but he's
no, no,
definitely
no.
he's gonna develop into something that can be, that we the Mets fans can be proud of. I think so. I think so. I think he's showing signs here and there. Defensively, he's showing signs, like you said. That diving catch was amazing. The other day, well, at the Brewers series, we have men on second and third. We're losing the game, and for some reason, the manager Mendoza, Carlos Mendoza, the new manager for the Mets, he
Hmm.
decides to pinch hit with Beatty. I can't remember how many outs we had because it was really cold and I was frustrated. We were losing, but he brings up Beatty, pinch hits, and everybody boos. You can hear the boos in the stadium. All right, and guess what he does? He hits a home run. The crowd goes wild. Now all of a sudden, the crowd has energy. It's electric in there. We still lost the game, but we came close. It was a good comeback for us because we were struggling throughout the whole game, and then the spark, and we were like, "This is what we came to the ballpark for."
Yeah. How's your catcher Alvarez doing?
Oh man, he's showing great signs of I want to play, I want to win, and that's what I love about a young player. He's great defensively, has a great arm. He can only get better, but he hits. All right. Marte and Alvarez were the only two good hitters in the first series, to be honest with you. And
Hmm.
Alvarez just keeps getting better. He's shown a lot of signs last year when we were, down and out. But when he came up, he definitely showed us what he's capable of doing. And now he has a full year to really excel. And he's our catcher hopefully for the next 10 years. Hopefully, we won't even have to look at that position.
Yeah, and I always say catchers are like the quarterbacks for baseball because if you have a great catcher, you can call the signs and catch any pitcher, and not have a situation where this pitcher only can pitch to this catcher, or that catcher can only handle this pitcher. You kind of have a problem. You need a catcher that can catch everybody, knows how to control the game. Um, if you have a catcher that can do that, you can make a mediocre pitcher into a great pitcher, and so now if that's the case, then the Mets can save some money and they don't have to do what they did 2 years ago when they got Verlander and Max Scherzer, which unfortunately did
Was
not
a bust.
age so well.
Yeah,
Yeah, a buzz.
a bust.
But the question is can they develop pitchers? I don't know what their farm system is like as far as pitching goes, but at the players that they got now, they're just stopgaps until either they find somebody or they trade in the offseason. I don't see them training for a star pitcher in the regular season unless they have an amazing run
Yeah,
in the
that could
first
happen.
half.
Yeah, that
And
could
if that's
happen.
the case, um, you know, maybe you would.
Maybe,
No. Um,
maybe.
Something I was thinking about recently, as you know, Alonso's on his walk here. So with that being said, right, if the Mets are not in the wild card race, um, would you trade Pete Alonso for draft picks? Because the way I think about it is, um, now they have new ownership. You know that you don't have to worry about, oh man, we're not going to get him back if we let him walk out the door. You have a new owner who's got money. He's not afraid to spend his money. Um, so you could tell Pete, hey, listen, man, we love you. You're great, but we need to improve our team down the line. You're going to be a free agent at the end of the year. We'll let you go shop around at the end of we'll trade you to X, Y, and Z. When your year's up, you see what contract you get. And we'll try to be the best offer. And if you like it, great. We'll take you back. If you want to. That's what I would do if I'm the Mets. The Yankees did that a couple years ago. They traded their stars and they got prospects back, and they didn't have to rebuild as long. So if the Mets can do something like that, now the other thing is the Mets' number one goal next year is to sign Soto. I think that's gonna happen.
I don't think
So
that's gonna happen at all.
Why do you think not?
because I think he's finally found a home. He moved around a lot in the last couple of years, and he was searching for something that felt like home. And I think that the energy that he's bringing to this team, and I'm watching him play, and he's super excited. And you can tell he loves it there. He doesn't like it. You can tell he loves it there. Think about it. If you're in MLB, right, and you get to sign with the Yankees, you know what that means, right? Like you've made it to like the big show. Like the Yankees are known worldwide. The Yankees are like where you want to play. For some odd reason, this
Every
most
kid's
championship,
dream.
every kid's dream, right? Like the most championships in baseball. They're
The best
classy,
players,
the
the
best
most Hall of
players.
Famers probably.
Yeah, the most retired numbers too. It's
Yeah,
like it's where you want to be. All right, if you're not playing for the Dodgers in the NL, because obviously we saw that in the you know we saw that in the postseason, right?
yeah, that's true.
When the
They had all the
postseason shows,
stars.
all the stars are there, and they show up to the postseason every single year, just like the Yankees used to. The Dodgers are the new Yankees in the NL. For the last 7 years, the Dodgers have been in the postseason. That used to be a Yankee tradition. The Yankees never missed the playoffs. They just recently started doing that. But with this team is going to the playoffs. They're gonna have to run through. I'm not gonna say it the other way around. I'm not gonna say Baltimore has to run through the Yankees to get to the World Series. No, the Yankees have to run through Baltimore to get to the World Series. You
I don't know. I
understand
just
that,
think
right?
yeah. No, at the moment, currently present, as if you look at both rosters on paper, the Yankees definitely have better offense. You
Uh,
got three power bats. Baltimore's, to be honest with you, I don't know anybody that's really other than Santander. He's the best power hitter, I guess. The other guys are young, Rutschman, Henderson. So I personally think the Yankees have a better offense, and they have a better pitching staff. Like they have Nestor Cortez. They got well-known guys who were successful. They got the Yankees have Stroman, Cortez. The only well-known starter for the Orioles is Corbin Burns, but that he was someone they traded for.
but that
The
doesn't
other
matter
guys,
though. That doesn't matter. It's not about household names. It's about how do you put this team together and why
yeah,
they're so
well,
good. They have amazing chemistry.
yeah, their current let's see, today Dean, Grayson Rodriguez, he's in his first full year. He had a great game. He won yesterday. Dean Kramer had a great game today. He left the game in the seventh inning with the lead, but the bullpen blew it. But the pitching staff has been okay. They're doing all right. I think they'll be okay. Now, there's someone I thought they were gonna maybe trade for, and that was Shane Bieber. But I just found out that Shane Bieber is going to be out for the rest of the year. He tore his ACL. He has to get Tommy John, so he's no longer a trade candidate for any team that might need a starting pitcher. So that's going to make the trade market, trade deadline more interesting. Um, so I don't know what they're going to do now. For now, I think Baltimore's going to do what like the Yankees are doing, ride it out, see how it goes. If they're in the playoff hunt at the trade deadline, then they'll try to get a starter. If not, maybe they'll do what they did a couple years ago and trade away some, bullpen stuff and get better pitchers back, unknowns. But Baltimore's pitching has been good so far. They just lost the series. They should have won the series against Pittsburgh, but a bad play by the infielder cost them the game. But and then
Yeah.
yesterday's game went into the 11th inning. They just lost. So when you go into extra innings, that's up for grabs. It's like any game, any overtime game in any sport. Momentum swings
Yeah.
drastically
I think it's
with the man
funny.
on second.
Second, yeah, I don't like that at all. I
No,
rem-
I don't
I
like it.
don't like it. It just changes the game. I understand they're trying to speed up the game, but that move with having them in on second, a hit, you score. I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be traditional like it used to be. Well, I'm older, so I guess
I think I reason why they did is because speed up the games. But now that you have pitch clock, I think you can get rid of it. Pitch clock has been great. The average game is about 2 hours and 25 minutes. So yeah, it might be a little bit longer, but um, I think they're trying to avoid the long, old school Red Sox Yankee games that took 7 hours to play. Even I remember that. Correct me if I'm wrong. What was it in the 2000 and was it 5, 6? I think it was like the Mets played the Cardinals in it was a 1 o'clock game, right? And then until like 8, 9 o'clock at night, something like that. You
Something
remember
like
that?
that. It was something
It's like
crazy. How
twenty
many
six
innings?
plus innings.
Yeah, something crazy like that.
Yeah, it was crazy. But that's what they're trying to avoid. But um, I don't know. They need to get rid of the man on second. I see why they do it, but I don't know. You gotta just play the game as is constituted, and then
You see, but
yeah.
so they don't do it in the playoffs, but they do it in the regular season. So let's get rid of it altogether. If it's not good enough for the playoffs, let's get rid of it altogether. You can't have a rule right for the regular season and then all of a sudden, you know what? We got to get rid of this for the playoffs. You know, like let's get rid of it altogether.
Well, I don't know. The playoffs. The reason why they get rid of it in the playoffs is to makes the games more exciting. If you know that, let's be honest. With the man on second, you have at least 70-80% chance of scoring that run.
Of course, all we need is a
Whether
hit.
all you need is a hit. Exactly. You need a hit. You
A
need an
hit.
error. You need a pop out. Who knows? It's anything can happen. So that chance is greatly. Whereas with no man on second, nobody on base, you're really scrapping to get that
That
man on
run.
first. That's the
Yeah,
first goal. Get a man
yeah,
on base. Then you worry about the next goal. Okay, now you got man on base. How you gonna advance him?
exactly.
So it's a strategy.
It's a strategy. I mean, both ways. I mean, it's just like when the NL had the pitcher batting ninth. It changes the game drastically. All right, it changes the way you pitch to that hitter. It changes the whole dynamic of the game. You
Oh,
know,
I love the DH. It's so
no,
much
I
better.
yeah, I mean, it's more exciting. It
Think
definitely is.
about it.
But I'm a National Leaguer, so that
That's
little
true.
change used to give the National League home field advantage in the World Series because think about it. Your pitcher, I mean, with the once interleague was put into play, the American League pitchers had to actually grab a bat when they played
Would play
interleague
at the
games at the
NL League
national
teams,
exactly at home.
NL
Like,
games. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
I only reason why I like the DH is because if you have someone like, for example, the Mets just got JD Martinez, right? He's not going to be an everyday outfielder anymore. He's your perfect someone that you can still play. He still has some pop, but he can't play the field every day. Or if you're like the Yankees, you have John Carlos Stanton. He's always injured, but guess what? He can hit the home runs. He can hit for you.
yeah,
Same thing with Judge. So that's what I like about it. So you have you have a player that is no longer used every day, now can be used every day, and he can just be a spark for your offense.
I
Whereas a
agree.
pitcher, most pitchers cannot. Not everyone's a Bartolo Colon
No, the
or
Grom. How about the Grom? The
or
Grom was an
Degrom.
amazing hitter.
Exactly. So not everyone's going to be doing that. So by having your pitcher hit, you're wasting essentially, in my opinion, you it's a good strategy because you
It's
have advantage
different.
over everybody else,
Yeah, it's
especially
different.
against American League teams because American League pitchers don't hit. So it is a strategy. It works well in the World Series and the playoff game. In the World Series is when it becomes an advantage. That's the only time. But in the regular season game, um, so I can see your standpoint as to why you like the pitching, going up to bat.
Yeah, it
It's
shows it's different, two different sides doing different things, and then when they collide, you have to, you know, adjust to our rules, and when we go to your home, we adjust to your rules. It's
yeah,
it's 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 beautiful. I loved it. I felt
it's a
like that was the difference between us and them, and now we're equals, right? So the game is a little bit more exciting, right? Because you have true nine hitters, coming up to the plate and trying to do something, right? But I understand what you're saying too. There are guys out there like closers, right? That fill that extra slot in the batting order at the DH, where you're like, that guy's dangerous. That guy is here for one sole purpose, you know? So yeah, I
hmm
can't wait
yeah.
for JD Martinez to show up because it's gonna be interesting. Hopefully they'll put him in the right slot where he can be protection for Alonso, and maybe Alonso can relax a little bit more, right? And hit the ball better because you have to pitch to one of them. All right. So in a playoff situation, you have JD hitting third, you have Alonso fourth, and you got men on first and second with no outs, right? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, you gotta choose who you're
What do you,
gonna either
pick your
walk
poison?
or pitch to and take your risk.
Exactly.
So
Pick your poison because
yeah,
it's not looking good right now for you. You know?
no, if you're the pitcher, the opposing pitcher, you really have to be strategic with what you're gonna do.
Definitely.
But anyway, with that being said, so I know you guys are. So you guys won 2 out of 3. The Mets won 2 out of 3 against Cincinnati, and now they head to Atlanta.
Mm,
It'll be interesting.
it'll be interesting. I mean, listen, it's you have to run through there. No matter
I
what
think,
happens this season, if you want to get anywhere, you have to run through there. The Mets don't play
yeah,
well in Atlanta. They never have. You know, me and you went to a whole
yeah,
series
that was fun, man.
last time I came to visit you because you're in Atlanta and I'm in New York. I'm a
Hmm.
true Met fan. You're from Jersey and you moved out to Atlanta. And
Yeah, it's
I like the Atlanta Braves too. They're a true team. You moved to a great spot in the world, but you're
man.
a true Orioles fan. And I love that about you. But you appreciate good teams and you appreciate great baseball. Let's talk about what you experienced last night. Because
Yeah, so I went to my first game of the year. It was their second home game uh of the season. So yesterday's game, uh, I forget, was it Freed? Whoever was pitching. Anyway, yeah, it was Freed.
Freed, right?
Yeah, he gave up 6 runs in the first inning. I was like, oh boy,
Mm,
this is gonna ugly fast. Usually, it's you knew something was wrong because he doesn't usually give up 6 runs like that.
no, he's tough.
And then, Arizona's a good team. Everyone seems to think that it was a one-time thing that they showed up in the World
It
Series,
wasn't
but
a
I think
fluke.
they're good. Yeah, they think they're a fluke, but I think Arizona's a good team. I like their young team. They got the Corbin Carrolls of the world. They got Cattell Marte, I think his name is.
Yeah.
So
So
he's good. They got I forgot Moreno. I think he's their catcher. He's good.
he has a lot.
They
They
got
have a lot
Luis
of speed.
Gurriel Jr. Yep.
A lot of speed. They have a lot of speed. They
Yeah,
steal a
they're
lot.
Yeah, they do. But anyway, they like in yesterday's game, they're a small ball team as far as the Diamondbacks. They put the ball in play and that's how they score runs. They're not a home run hitting team. And that's what they did yesterday. In Atlanta, they just never gave up and Azuna got what was it? Azuna got an RBI and then Marco Harris got a triple and then it was a snowball effect and it was 8-2 at one time, and I ended up staying. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna leave because I don't know. I just had that feeling maybe they could come back. They came back the night before in a walk off. They came back, so I was like, maybe there's a chance they'll came back. And man, that ninth inning when they scored 9-8, man, it was electrifying in there.
Of course it was.
Everyone's doing the tomahawk chop. The way that for those who've never been to a game, what they do is they turn on the lights and everybody puts on their cell phone light and they do the chop and
It
it's
looks
pretty
beautiful.
amazing atmosphere.
Yeah.
um but they came back. They're like you said it best. They're a feisty team. Atlanta's not going to back down. They're not going to get bullied.
Never.
They're going to fight like heck and they're going to score, and you better be it's going to be a 12-round fight with the Braves. It's not a 1-2-3 punch. So
It's
just
not.
when you think you're up 8-0, 8-2,
That's
and think
nothing.
you're gonna come back, I mean that they're not gonna come back. You're highly mistaken. As far as the versus the Mets series go, if I'm the Mets, my goal would be to minimize. You have to have good outings from your starters. You got to minimize the
Yeah,
runs,
I agree.
minimize the mistakes. The Mets haven't been made. They haven't really made crucial mistakes. I have to give them that. They're not a sloppy team, which is good. It's just
Yeah.
the offense is not producing, but who knows? It's a little warmer here in Atlanta. It's gonna be about like 70 plus degrees, so that
It's
might
gonna
help the
change
Mets.
everything. No, it's gonna help a lot.
It makes a difference.
It makes a
New
huge
York
difference.
is what 50s, 60s lately.
No, well, in that stadium today, okay, so today it was what, high 50s.
In
So
City Field.
it would have been like low 30s inside the building. That's how
But
bad it gets. There's a lot of wind tunnels, and it gets ugly in there. Like it's bad. You have to bring your winter coat in April to go see a Met game. That's how bad it is. It's pretty bad.
yeah. So the Mets and the Braves, it's a 4 game series.
Four
Right
game
off the bat,
series.
um, I don't have the pictures in front of me, but
That's gonna be
um,
Julio Teheran in the first game for the
Hauser for
Mets.
the second game.
Hauser for the second game. Like, we
Uh,
can
what's his name? Severino third or fourth
Severino
game,
for the third game. I believe you're right about that. I think
and
you're right
then
about that.
the I don't know who the pitcher is on Wednesday for the Braves, but they haven't figured out yet.
I haven't figured that out yet. Right?
I think Strider or Freed. They're
No,
getting checked out.
Strider's hurt right now.
Yeah,
Strider's gone for the
Strider's hurt.
season. Their best pitcher in the NL.
He's out for the season.
Yeah, he's out for
I
the
didn't
season. He
see
won
that.
20 games last year, right? And he was first in strikeouts, I believe, at 281. That's off the top of my head, but yeah,
Yeah,
he's gonna
he led the
be
league
sorely
in
missed. Yeah, he's gonna
strikeouts.
be missed.
Yeah, but like I said, they're a team that can afford. If there's one team that can afford to lose a starting pitcher, it's them because they just offense is just relentless. The
It
offense
is.
up and down the lineup is just dangerous. Even the guy who we got the former Mets prospect Jared Kalenic, he had a good game. He had a couple good hits yesterday. Travis Darno, man, he's been I don't know what he was in New York. He was awful, but since he got to Atlanta, and now he's starting every day because Atlanta lost Sean Murphy. He's out for this couple weeks. But Darnold offensively on Friday he got the
Man,
game-winning single, and then yesterday he had a 2 RBI game. I think it was like that. But he was just good, and
he's great now.
he's
It's
all right.
amazing.
So I'm glad to see
So
he's doing well.
it's funny that you say that because I'm a Met fan, so everyone likes to laugh at me. I'm from the Bronx. I'm a Met fan. I live maybe 20-minute walk from Yankee Stadium. I
Yep,
go there maybe once a year, and
and
it's a
when the
free
Mets are playing the
ticket.
Yankees,
Exactly. And I get memes all the time. People send me, a text here and there to make fun of me. For example, we have this. All right, that's
that's not nice.
that's not nice at all. But you know what? Are they right? Maybe. Right. And then of course,
Yeah,
I get
lately,
this one.
yes.
I get this one. Read that one. And this is so true. This is so true. Good players come to the Yankees and become great. Good players leave the Mets and become great. And that's the truth. All right. The other day I saw Seth Lugo playing for KC as a starter. He's back to his starter ways, doing
That's
great.
right. He
And
came
I
up
was
as a
amazed.
reliever.
Yeah, he came, he did. Well, he played, when he first played for the Mets, he was a starter. Then they moved him to the bullpen and they
Yeah,
left him there. But I saw him. He was shining, bright star, doing his
yeah.
thing in KC. I believe he won that game too. It was pretty amazing. Conforto, another guy, left
San
the team.
Francisco, man, he's doing good. He took a year off too,
He took
because
a year off because
he
he
was
was hurt.
hurt.
He was hurt.
So, and I thought it was a guy that I really thought the Mets were going to resign Comfort. I was like, that was their
Me
number one
too.
guy they're going to build around because Alonso hadn't been up yet.
He
And
was young, yeah,
Conforto was good with the Mets. He wasn't horrible.
yeah.
I don't think he
But
was horrible.
but now he's great. Now he's great playing for San Francisco. He's having a great year. Another player, Justin Turner. As soon as he left the Mets, he turned into a
I always forget
superstar.
that he was a Met.
Yeah, he was. He
Did he
was.
ever make it to the majors with the Mets, or he just had a cup of
Yeah,
coffee and then
he played for
moved
us
to the
for a
Dodgers?
while. Then he moved on to the Dodgers, and oh man, he turned into a monster. He's getting long in the tooth now. I think he's playing for Boston now, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's Boston
He's
or
playing for Boston
Toronto.
now.
Boston or Toronto, one of those two teams. But either way, he's not as good.
He's a he was great. He was okay with us, but he turned into a force. Who's another
Yeah,
player that? Oh, Travis is the perfect example. Travis was so bad with the Mets that
Travis
I couldn't
Darno.
even believe he was a major leaguer. All right, towards the end of his term with the Mets, it
Do
was
you remember
so
when he got
bad.
him? Remember how they got him?
Of course, I
They
remember how
traded
we got
R.A.
him.
Dickey.
Okay,
He was one
a
of the
Cy
first
Young
picks they
winner
got.
with 20 wins. 20 wins turned R.A. Dick into a Cy Young, and they were like, "Wow, we
And we
don't want
turned they
this guy
got
anymore."
Darno.
Let's and
I
Syndergaard.
Actually, it turned into a good trade because Syndergaard was way better than R.A. Dickey was. R.A. Dickey had like 2 good years, and that was it. And then you got Travis Darno, even though Darno didn't do well for the Mets. The problem he had with the Mets, he just would make up a bunch of errors, and he just
A
wouldn't.
lot.
He wouldn't get the timely hits as far as like the crucial hits when they were
And
runners on base. He just either strike out, pop out, or double plays.
but he was
He killed a
horrible
lot of
behind the
offense
plate. He was
drive.
horrible as a catcher too. Defensively, he was horrible.
Yeah,
Couldn't peg
he's done
anyone.
better. He's done better. I don't know. He's done great, and I don't know what it is. If it's the coaching or just a different
Of course it
venue.
is.
I
Of
do
course it is.
believe in that there is pressure playing in New York. It's a lot more pressure than you. The media is bigger. So you feel the heat way more than you do any other place. Atlanta. If you're semi like they love, like for example, they love Darnold here. He's and to your New York standards, he's not. He's
He's not.
okay, but he's
Yeah.
not going to get a round of applause from the Mets fans. He'll more likely get boozed than congratulate. In Atlanta, they don't care. He's good. Yeah, you're great. Let's give him a round of applause, even if he's having a horrible game. But in the last couple of days, he's turned out well. But it'll be interesting how the Mets do in this series. Like I said, the Mets. Here's the goal: you gotta reduce their Braves' ability to score runs. If you can do that, you can keep it a 1 to 2 run game. The Mets do have a chance. Um, the Mets lineup isn't horrible. I think it's a good lineup on paper.
On paper,
You
it's
got
great. I
Alonso, you got McNeil, you got Beatty, you got Alvarez, you got
it's
what's his name?
Marte,
Marte.
Nemo.
Nimmo's not bad. He's been good. Who else?
You have Alonso on first. You have McNeil. For some reason, McNeil
Lindor
forgot
when he
how to hit
shows
the
up.
ball. Lindor had a great day today. He hit his first home run. He had a multi-hit game, and we hit a lot
Yeah, I
of
saw
today.
that.
We hit
I
a
saw
lot.
that.
We hit a lot.
We did well.
We got 11 hits, I believe. We started looking like the team that looks good on paper. It's actually showing signs of this is what we have. And this is what we can do. I need to see that a lot more. But obviously going into Atlanta is not going to be easy.
It's a good test.
But
This is a good test for the Mets.
that's a good
You're
test, an
on the
early
road. You're
test.
playing you're the arch nemesis currently in that
Yes.
division. They've had that. They've won the division in the last 10 plus years, almost 10 years now. They've won, or no, maybe less than
Uh,
that. But at least the last 7 years they've won that division
no,
in a row.
no, no. In 2015, we took it, right? But you know what? They've won it the majority of the time.
Yes.
Okay, because
So
they can do
good
that, and they
test.
start slow, and then they ramp it up, and they just get it done. Atlanta's the team you want to play for in the National League East. I mean, you have the Phillies too. The Phillies are interesting. They can't really
They're
play.
struggling a little bit, but
Yeah, they're struggling, but they'll take care of it. And don't forget that they come into the wild card and they take the high road, and they always make it to the show.
yeah,
The
they made
last
it to
two
the World
years,
Series.
they came in through the wild card. That means they have to play extra baseball, and they're able to compete in that environment. And they have a great lineup, and they have great pitching. But for some reason, they can't, take the lead in the division. But if they come in through a wild card, it's guaranteed that it's not going to be easy. They have the Schwarbers, the Real Mutos, the Harpers, the Zach Wheelers, another great addition. And where did he come from? The New York Mets in the
Taiwan
Wilpon
Walker.
era. The Taiwan Walkers, another great guy that I definitely did not want to get rid of. I loved him. Won over 10 games for them in his last year with the Mets. And what happens to get rid of him? That made no sense to me. That made no sense to me. But it's okay. Listen, you saw the meme. This is what happens to me. On a daily basis, I get memes from Yankee fans. Because the majority of my friends are Yankee fans. Except for you. You're the Baltimore Oriole fan. And I respect you. Because you know what? When they were trash, you were still wearing the hat. My team is always trash. And I wear my hat. You know?
Yeah,
But
it's
the
been a long time coming.
It's been a long time. You do, and you're looking good. You're looking good. I have a little trivia for you because you're the
Fire away. Let me
genius.
see.
Let me see what we got.
Who is the
Who
only
is?
player to record over 5,000 strikeouts?
That's correct. I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about
My
that.
I'm gonna go with Nolan Ryan. That's what I'm going with.
Wow, you're 100% correct. And
Nice.
Nolan Ryan had 5,714 strikeouts in 27 seasons. With he moved around a lot, but 27 seasons, pitchers don't make it that
That long?
far.
No, not with all these Tommy Johns. The reason why they don't make it that long anymore because first of all, players back then during Nolan Ryan days, they played through injuries too. They didn't throw as hard. They were more known for having control
Movement,
and movement. Yes. Nowadays, these guys they throw their arm. They're throwing 100 plus in high school. 17-year-old now. It's crazy.
yeah,
So that's why they only pitch 5 innings. So now you have to coddle them. You gotta make sure you pamper them, not in a bad way, but you gotta protect them from themselves because if it was a pitcher, they throw
yeah,
forever. But
you're right.
the problem is pitchers back then, like I said, they didn't throw as hard. So,
Yeah,
but the reason why he was so good is because he had control. The ball would dance. The ball would dance all over the strike zone. You have no where it was gonna go. Nowadays, you have an idea where it's gonna go. The question is, can you catch up to the speed?
yeah,
And nowadays, a lot of batters can. So now, when the batters can catch up to your speed, I feel like today's pitchers are one trick pony. It's all about speed, 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 speed. Speed can only get you so fast.
so far,
Yeah,
yeah,
speed
you're right.
does kill, but these hitters have speed too. They can freaking hit if 100-mile-per-hour ball is hit, it's like double off the bat. Aaron Judge hits a 100-mile-per-hour pitch from DeGrom. That ball is leaving
It's
the
gone.
field. There's
It's
no
gone.
doubt about it.
Exactly. It's
So
100% gone.
that's why Nolan Ryan was so great as
Yeah.
far as
Well, let me
strikeouts.
ask you a question. Let me see if you can answer this one. Who do you think was number two
Number two in strikeouts.
in strikeouts?
Mm, number two.
I'll give you a hint because who was the big unit?
Bartolo Colon.
Negative.
Oh no,
And
the big unit.
the big
Uh,
unit was Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was
And
tough. Forgot
he
about him.
was tough, right? And he only pitched for 22 seasons, which I think is amazing.
For someone that tall and the way he
Yes.
threw, he had a weird delivery. It
Yeah, he
wasn't like
did.
conventional.
No, it
But he
wasn't.
was another guy. He had speed, but that ball would dance. You remember that video where he hit that bird?
Yes, I
Remember that
remember that
video?
video. Of course, I remember that video. That was
That was
hilarious.
crazy.
It
But
was crazy.
he was a tall, lengthy guy, but his ball would dance in the strike zone,
It
and that
would.
was why he was so hard to hit. And he would throw hard too,
Yeah.
but he knew how to get the ball to move, and that's what makes a pitcher great. Is when you've lost your speed, can you make the ball move around? And if you can do that,
Yeah.
speed doesn't matter anymore because now you have control. And
Yeah.
most
You
pitchers,
just
today's pitchers can't do that. So Randy Johnson was very unique in that sense, and he was
yeah.
tall. So the
The
delivery looked
angles.
different. The angles
Yeah.
look crazy. You know what I
They
mean?
look crazy.
What what looked
And
like high to
you
you turns out to be a strikeout.
it's true though. Did for 22 seasons for 5 extra years. That I think that Randy, if he would have had an extra 5 years, he could have totally surpassed Nolan. At 4,875 strikeouts in 22 years, I think he could have surpassed Nolan if he would have stuck around for another 5 years. But it's crazy because, like you said, the players back in the day, they lasted way longer out there. But now these players get hurt. They need Tommy John. They come back stronger, but they can't last as long as they did back in the day. Different type of pitching, different type of you know energy. It's weird, but it's true though.
No, definitely true. Well, anyway, so this past week, one thing we like to do on the show is we have two performers that we like to recognize, and one of them is the gunslinger of the week. and the other one is the slugfester. The guy who was had lights out at the bat and at the plate hitting wise, and then the gunslingers who had the best outing.
Yeah.
And
So this week's
who was
gunslinger,
gunslinger of the week?
our gunslinger of the week is Ronel Blanco from the Houston Astros. Tell us what he
So
did, Asha.
so
Tell us
he
what he did.
pitched all 9 innings,
He
27
sure did.
outs. He only had two walks. I don't have the strikeouts in
Yeah,
front
he
of
had
me.
seven strikeouts.
He had seven strikeouts, and then today he pitched again, and he only gave up one hit.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and they won. They
Wow.
beat. They played the Texas Rangers. It was the Sunday night game of the week. They beat Tech.
Wow.
Did they beat them? Yeah, I think they beat. Yeah, I think they beat the Texas. Yeah, they beat
That's
Texas. But it's pretty amazing because his story is amazing. He
they
literally
hit it.
made the team on the last day of training camp, and he was
And
a
you know what?
fill-in because Verlander's still out. They
Exactly.
needed
I
a
was just about to
substitute.
say that. Exactly. This is his first year in MLB, right? And the
Yep.
funny thing about him is that he was a late bloomer, all right? 28 years old, 8 career starts, and he's only there because of the Verlander injury. And he goes 9 innings, 7 Ks, 2 walks. And that team hit like a machine. They won 10-0 that day against the Blue Jays. Gunslinger of the week, hands down.
No,
Now,
definitely. He was amazing.
amazing.
Who do you have
Amazing.
for your slugfester of the week? I
Oh,
think I know
that's
who it is,
easy.
but I'll let you
That's
tell me.
easy. This is somebody we all know. That's good for it.
Bryce Harper, man.
Oh my God.
I'll let you talk about
T-
Harper since he's an NL guy.
I mean, he's a threat no matter what happens. He's a scary at bat, but he gets 3 dingers in one game. And who does that these days? It's very hard. 3 dingers in one day. Of course, he's the slugfest of the week. Why wouldn't he be? Now, we're getting to the end of the show, and we want to say thank you for showing up, and we'll be back next Sunday for another good one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We're going into I guess, our second full week technically. They started the season on a Thursday, so it's not a full week. So we're technically going into our second week of the series. It'll be interesting. We have a good series. Like I said, we got the Mets going on. We got the Yankees. Baltimore's playing their first games against the division opponent, Boston.
No,
Boston right now.
are they
Yep.
playing the Pirates next?
No, they played Pittsburgh. They played that. They lost 2 out of 3, but it's all right. It's not a division game, so it's not the end of the
No,
world.
but Pittsburgh is tough now too. For some
Pittsburgh is,
reason,
yeah,
they're getting great. They're turning into an animal. They
yeah,
have a lot of wins this year already. They're playing really good baseball. You know, if they play well against a team like the Orioles, you know that there's something special there. You know, because you have to run through the good teams. You know, and say this is what we have. I mean, you're
yeah,
supposed to beat up on the on the bottom feeders, but when you can run through a team like the Orioles, you know that you have something. You have something.
yeah. Boston currently is ahead of us. They're 7-3 in the division, so
Yeah,
they're
Boston and
they're
the
playing
Yankees have
good.
you. Yeah,
You can never count out Boston. They're a good team. Now, the season's young. Who knows? At the end of the season, it could be Baltimore back on top. I don't know, but
I think so. I
we
think
tend
so.
to live
It's
in the
still
moment.
early. It's still
No,
early.
it's still early. Injuries happen, people change, weather changes, things change.
Yeah, exactly.
Players come and go. But yeah, it'll be interesting. So next week's episode, we'll talk about anything that interesting that popped off. Obviously, the thing I'm waiting to hear more about is this whole Otani gambling situation.
Oh my God.
It's kind of interesting that the MLB says, we're not gonna do any investigation. But meanwhile, they spent $50 million investigating A-Rod for steroids. I think gambling is worse than steroids because steroids
Definitely.
is more of an individual thing than a with betting. If Otani betted, he why wouldn't he bet on baseball if you're losing money like that? Well, he wasn't betting, his interpreter, but if his
Apparently,
interpreter's
it's the
losing,
interpreter.
the interpreter is losing money. Why not bet on baseball? You know the ins and outs. You know everything that the Dodgers doing or the Angels. You know who they're playing. You know, he goes out there when they pitch. He goes out with them when they take the cab ride from home to the game. So he knows everything. He's the right hand man. So something sounds sketchy. I don't know what's going on. MLB said they're gonna wait for FBI to do their thing, and if FBI, I think what's gonna happen is if whatever the FBI, because the FBI doesn't care that he's the face of baseball, they could give a flying potatoes. They're gonna do all the reason why MLB's not doing an investigation because they don't want to know what, because there's stuff that they're gonna know that they don't want revealed, and it'd be probably bad that they would have to suspend their star, and they don't want to do that. He's
Yeah,
literally
the ammo is
he's the
here. He's
LeBron
the Michael.
James
Yeah,
of baseball
let's
currently.
go back a little further. He's the Michael Jordan of the MOB right now. How
Yeah,
about that? That's what he is.
and in two countries, not just here,
Exactly.
in
So it'll
Japan
be
and here.
horrible. Imagine if you have to ban Otani from baseball. You know how much that's gonna hurt?
Well, you should if he
Oh,
used this
I
September
agree.
to bet on baseball, he deserves to be banned. That's worse than Pete Rose. It's all or along the same lines. It's worse because he's actually playing. Pete Rose wasn't playing when he did it. He was managing. That's the big difference. Now, if you're playing, you control how you do. You
Exactly.
can
Yeah, you can tank a
control.
game for
Yeah,
whatever amount of money that you put down. It's true. It's kind of crazy. It's
yeah.
bad.
Or the thing is when you go to a bookie, it's tax free at the moment. But if you because in California they don't have legal sports betting. They don't have FanDuel or what's the other one? DraftKings. They don't have that yet. So and even if they did, no legal company is gonna allow you to spend that much money. A bookie will be like, all right. The bookie reason why they probably let him get in that much debt is because they're like, well, we know we got the funds we can get out of Otani. Or what we'll say, okay, you know what, we don't want your money, but you have to tank. You gotta do really bad to make us money. So we'll bet against you. You gotta go 0 for 3. You gotta go on a 3-game losing streak, over 6-game losing streak, whatever the case may be, to pay us back. Or
Yeah.
we'll
Oh
take your
my
guy
God.
out at the knees.
That's
And
pretty scary.
literally, that's what they would do. Like literally, because
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
about
pretty.
you, but if you gamble, no, not even casinos are gonna let you spend that much money. No place is gonna let you. But if you owe me all that money, trust me, if I have no way of getting that money, the next way I'm gonna go after you is your life, and that's what they'll do. These people do.
Oh my God, scary.
It's kind of crazy,
Yeah,
but I don't think it's the whole notion of oh my god he stole our money. That's the original story. How that's hard to believe. How do you not know that $43 million is just missing out of your account? Now, if you're making millions of dollars, maybe you don't quite pay attention to everything. But I don't know about you, but I noticed if $20 is missing out of my account and it's something I didn't do, I was like, now granted,
yeah. But this
smaller
guy has, yeah.
team,
If that's true, that this guy has all this type of access to this
it's
guy's account,
crazy.
it's a little insane. Yeah, I mean, he does everything for him. Apparently, this is a normal thing amongst interpreters. But I'm sorry, you're not gonna have access to my money like that. All right. How much money do you need in the account to do my dailies? You know what I mean? I don't know, but we'll find out. But we're coming to the end of the show. We want to say
Yeah,
thank you once again for
it was a
showing
good,
up and
good show, man.
listening.
Thank you.
And we'll see
See
you
y'all
next
next
week.
week.
Exactly. Any questions, any comments, you can look us up on strikeoutbros at Gmail. Leave whatever it is that you feel like you need to put down on there. And we'll see you next week. And you guys have a great night.
All right, man. See you next week.
Next week, brother.